Panis Pieri. Hi. We'll turn into English because the theme today is blockchain. We are here with two very good friends, Alexis Nicolaou and Agathangelou. Alexis is the CEO of blockco.co and George is the CMO of blockco.co. Hi, guys.
Hello. Hi, Panis. Hi, everyone.
We're here. This is another DisruptCyprus live. We're here every day, 7 p.m. I want to say a big thank you to all the guys that actually are working hard right now in the hospitals and outside to find solutions to these problems. We're going to share in the podcast some solutions that blockco can offer via blockchain technologies. So stay with us. We'll have an interesting podcast session in the next 40 minutes. And here I would like to say a big shout out to our first, we opened Monday a Patreon account. A big shout out that we promised to our patrons, Michalis Odysseos. Thank you for supporting us. The goal here is to have a Patreon account. So we want you to support our creative process and slowly get into the process. Suggest also potential new speakers, new guests. Help us get bonus material in our community, in our patrons only community. And you can find the link in the comments if you want to help us. We want to be independent and try to create a meaningful podcast that will help you add value to your life. That's our goal through innovation, through startups and entrepreneurship. But let's go to our guest for today. Welcome to DisruptCyprus Live. Okay, because I want also our viewers to know you. Welcome. Has some fresh comments from, I think, it's from India, Midtown Krishna. Let's bring his comment before we start. Hi, Midtown. Tell us who you are first and what blockco is doing and how you utilize in blockchain technologies. Yeah.
Sure. Hi, Panis. Hi, everyone. Before we start, I'd like to thank you to be with us tonight. Thank you, Panis, for giving the opportunity to startups like ours to get the message out there. All those that have been involved or are involved in a startup business will have experienced firsthand the difficulties such companies are facing and the hurdles they must overcome at the early stages of their existence. Of course, become more critical when you're faced with a situation, I hate the word crisis, like the one we're faced with now. Faced it back in 2013 when I was heading an organization much bigger and much more established than blockco, and the script was not a pretty one. Made it through, however, and as a team, and I stress that because everyone needs to pull together in times like this. We made it, and so we this time round. A story, blockco is a pioneer in blockchain credentialing applications. Our mission to eliminate document fraud everywhere by transforming the way institutions manage digital records. Our story can be traced back to 2014 when the University of Nicosia identified a need for secure and sorry, my screen froze. I thought I was not being okay.
No, continue. It's fine.
Fine. It can be traced back to 2014 when the University of Nicosia identified a need for secure and self-verifiable credentials. due to the growing market of forged credentials, as well as the vulnerability of certification documents in the face of man-made and natural disasters. The need for such a solution was increasing. Moreover, in 2014, the University of Nicosia decided to launch the first in the world master's degree in digital currencies and blockchain technology, of which I am proud to say that I am a graduate. Blockco was born just a year ago with the objective of taking these initial learnings, expanding the product beyond education to other industries, as well, of course, as government. Indeed, to any organization, any sector that issued certificates whose authenticity and immutability they wish to actually secure.
Okay, George, you have anything to add?
I believe that Alexis covered it. As far as what we do, especially we're trying now to create a team of professionals from various industries and various skill sets in order to fast forward the development of Block.co as a blockchain startup.
Cool. Okay, how COVID found Blockco? How are you handling? You're staying home, staying safe, working.
Yeah, but
you're an industry and company that I think it's easy to go into remote, but I imagine you had your problems and challenges and opportunities.
Sure. Like most other businesses, the team has been working remotely from home using the various online communication tools. Colleagues, one thing that's changed is the characteristics, the facial characteristics of the colleagues gradually changing. Others are growing beards, others have shaved their heads. But seriously, communication between us has not really been disrupted. And to be honest, I can actually see some big changes coming as a result of this, Panis. As companies do realize that they don't really need to invest in renting or owning large offices, large office buildings in order to house their employees, as they can work equally efficiently remotely. What has been affected, though, is the response that we get when we reach out to clients, to potential clients, whether in the US or Europe. Everyone seems to have other priorities right now, and that is perfectly understandable.
Yeah, actually, I had this discussion today in the morning with some employees of a very big company, Cyprus, that they already started. I don't want to say names, but it's one of the biggest companies in Cyprus. But they're starting to making planning, so some departments will stay remotely, and even after the whole thing evolves or changes, hopefully we'll have solutions fast. The prediction is not like this, but hopefully we'll have solutions fast to handle everything and go back slowly go back to the normality. I don't think though, but I totally agree with you, Alexis. Normality will change.
I mean, even institutions like universities, like the University of Nicosia, for example, to whom we're associated, they are seriously thinking of moving a big chunk of their educational courses online. Obviously, University of Nicosia are the biggest online university in Cyprus, but they can see a big shift in students asking for online tuition. And there's a lot of tools out there. There's virtual classes. You can actually have a screen that can be, I've seen a product out there where you got the tutor sitting in the middle of the stage, and they've got screens all around with students, one screen per student. They can be in any part of the world, and they can deliver the courses as if virtually, as if they're actually in a virtual class. So that's going to be happening a lot more.
Yeah, the teachers, because I have the same question, I have a conversation with a lot of teachers and students the last days. The teachers, they say that work has doubled. And actually, yeah, I mean, the youth, for them, it's normal, because if you consider that they were born with a tablet in their hands, so they're used to this thing. And yeah, but let's start from the beginning, because a lot of people might not know what is decentralization, what is blockchain. So let's do a brief, what is decentralized technology and what is blockchain technology?
Well, to answer your question, Panis, we need to think a little bit about the centralization aspect in our lives. I mean, if we look into a few examples are like Facebook or Google or like financial gateways. These are all controlled by centralized authorities. And what essentially this means is that data needs to be verified. And we put our trust into other people, into gather this data, protect this data, process it, and secure our best interests. But this is not the case because people are not in control of their data. We can see that these huge tech giants are taking advantage and monetizing on something that doesn't really belong to them. They're just collectors of this data. And that we need to, let's say, shift a little bit the model that we are operating with. And this is where blockchain comes into the equation. And we are talking about decentralization. When we're referring to this decentralization, we can essentially say that this was first made possible using the blockchain technology. And blockchain technology is one of the components behind the Bitcoin blockchain, which was created in 2009. So essentially, when we're doing this cryptographic transaction, when somebody sends Bitcoin to someone else, these transactions are not verified by any centralized authority. Something very important, and everyone should remember that this decentralization is we're not only referring to financial transactions. It can be applied to in most industries and a lot of use cases as well when it comes to data. The second thing that we need to remember is that people do not need to, let's say, identify themselves in order to interact with these decentralized systems. They can simply use a private key and a public key, and with a combination of the two, they can remain, let's say, anonymous in a way. So in the end of the day, organizations with decentralized systems that they are operating on these new technologies that we refer to as blockchain or distributed ledger technologies are controlled by no single authority. So instead, the control is distributed, let's say, evenly and fairly to whoever wants to be a participant in this system. So this makes things a little bit more fair and a little bit more transparent with auditable, let's say, trail on the public blockchains in some cases. So you can see that there is a change in the paradigm of and the design of the way we do things, or we expect at least to have this change. I hope that this is, let's say, a summary of the decentralization aspect and, let's say, these new technologies that are rising. What is the point behind them?
Okay, so what are some applications in our daily life?
Well, some applications of our daily life. Before I go there, I just want to make another small note. If people want to look more into the terminology of blockchain and this kind of, let's say, information, they can also visit our website, block.co, where we have developed a glossary of terms. And you can go there and you can actually check and revisit these, let's say, terms. So when it comes to the applications in our daily life, we need to see a lot of industries and a lot of specific, let's say, applications. So To start with, the most, let's say, impactful industry when it comes to blockchain is the industry of commerce. So let's take, for example, banking is one of the first sectors to implement blockchain technology. And the banking sector is using blockchain in order to make, let's say, transactions more efficient. They are able to have all these transactions cross-checked by participating nodes within those blockchains. And we can also keep the identities of the transacting parties safe. Operations, they can be much cheaper. They can be without censorship in some cases. So, for example, the other day we saw a huge transaction taking place on the Bitcoin blockchain. I believe it was more than 1,000 Bitcoins, if I'm not mistaken, and it would only cost $0.7. We're talking about a huge amount of money, maybe in the millions, tens of millions, and it only costs less than $1 to move that in the other side of the world. Now, another very relevant application of blockchain nowadays is the application for our healthcare system. So nowadays we can see that this corona pandemic crisis has taken a lot, let's say, from our daily lives. And things could have been dealt with much better if we had these technologies beforehand. If we had the right infrastructure in order to handle the situation, I believe that the expansion, let's say, the way that we see more and more people getting infected by this disease, this could have been handled much faster in a much more efficient way, like they did, for example, in Singapore or in China, where they have mass databases of information, and they are actually making, let's say, good use of that information in order to facilitate and combat the pandemic. Now, when we're talking about health certificates and medical records, it is extremely important to mention that the blockchain technology and this decentralized aspect of blockchain has already been implemented by some countries that are looking to fight the coronavirus crisis. Now, when we're talking about an interoperable blockchain solution, one solution that can communicate, let's say, with ledgers and significantly can improve, let's say, day-to-day operations. This way we can see true progress when it comes to combating various pandemics also in the future. Now, we are seeing a trend around the world right now. We are seeing that the technology companies, industry startups are recognizing the need for this kind of systems. And they are creating consortiums and a series of solutions based on blockchain technology with the aim of, let's say, tracking the various medication like drugs, making sure that they're monitoring all the supply chains. When it comes to having, let's say, a surplus of medication or ventilators or stuff like that, the blockchain system can actually notify authorities and allocate in the best possible way all these surpluses to people that are in need. Another application is when we're having the effect of hoarding from various, let's say, medical institutions. In some cases, these are distorting the market. We've seen that some institutions have been hoarding medical supplies, and as a result, they are distorting prices in the market, and people cannot reach those supplies, and we cannot provide them to the ones that are in extreme need at that point. So here comes blockchain. It can actually provide a lot of solutions and a lot of efficiencies, be able to provide the data that we need, the privacy that is required by people that may have been patients of corona, and be able to manage that data in order to save lives. This can be done with blockchain technology.
So, if I understand correctly, it's a very disruptive technology that can help build more trust between parties, and use it in a lot of cases that you need more trust. Correct?
Exactly. We are talking, yes, the main issues, the main, let's say, points to take is the aspect of trustless engagement or agreements without the need of an intermediary. And of course, as we said, the immutability aspect, of course, it's very, very important.
Okay. What? How Bloco? I know that you're built-in self-verifiable certificates. How Bloco is using these technologies to combat fraud, and what problem? Okay, we know what problem you're solving. We discussed that, but how? Yeah,
Alexis,
how
would you elaborate?
can we have some examples, for example?
Sure. Sure. First, imagine this. Imagine a world where all types of fraudulent documents are eliminated. A world where you can easily verify the authenticity of any document you're presented with, whether it is a university degree, any company document, any legal document, a wedding certificate. With our solution, we can help organizations to issue verifiable documents that can be validated for their authenticity instantly and independently through an online validator that we install on the website of the issuer. Documents that may not be tampered with, as they are anchored on the most secure computer network in the world, the Bitcoin blockchain. Any other type of document, whether electronic, with an electronic signature, or physical, with the presence of security features like watermarks or holograms, or the institution's embossed stamp or seal, they can all still be tampered. What blockchain is bringing about is a foolproof solution as to securing of any kind of a document. Now, if that is not disruptive, I don't know what is. How many times have authorities been presented with documents, not just authorities, institutions, whoever, with documents whose authenticity they either need to see a stamp of a certifying agent, a stamp of a lawyer, and imagine how easy it would be to fake the stamp of a lawyer, the stamp of a certifying officer, whereby there's absolutely no way of falsifying, of tampering, not even a pixel. If you even tamper one pixel of that electronic document that has been anchored on the blockchain, once you try to validate it will come up as this not being the original copy. It could be a scanned copy of the original, but still, unless you have the original copy of the document that has been issued by the issuer, you will not be able to verify its authenticity. That's the change that we're bringing about. It's a simple solution. It's straightforward to implement. It's straightforward to understand, to adopt, and of course for the verifying party to actually appreciate.
Cool. We had also the website in the comments, so if you want to see more about blockco.co, you can go there. There is more stuff how things are working, yeah, that's very interesting, Alexis. For example, we had in Cyprus recently, with the number that we have in order to be able to move the 8998, we had like cases that people they actually made the fraud of the SMS. Okay. So I believe if there was a solution that is maybe blockchain based, that would be.
Well, funny you say that, because we actually did prepare and sort of showed and demonstrated a solution to the deputy minister, Mr. Gokinos, whereby people could use a solution to produce a QR code. Basically, you had a kind of a certificate with a QR code that you could simply have on your smartphone, and the verifying party, in this case the police officer, would simply use a simple QR code scanner on their phone to scan the authenticity of that document. There was no way that that document could have been tampered with. So people could not just, write on the spot a form and complete a form which they presented to the policeman. This would have saved quite a bit of hassle and made it a bit more secure. However, I can understand it that they thought of the SMS solution as being a lot more straightforward, and they went with the SMS solution. You see how they actually scrapped at the latest stage the form filling part of it, because that was very much open to manipulation. Our solution would not have been, but then again, the ministry thought that it was quite complicated for people to understand. We don't think it was, but fair enough. As long as the SMS works, then that's fine. What can actually come into play at the latest stage will be to produce a document for people that have been, and I have read this somewhere, it might sound a bit scary, but it's not really. So you can actually prove at some point when the vaccine comes out, that actually prove to any party, whether it's an employer, a future employer, or somebody, or a, I don't know, a school, or an area where there is there's more than yourself, to actually prove to them that you have been vaccinated, so you're not putting them in danger of being contaminated by you.
I believe it's a certificate of immutability, if I'm not mistaken. And it applies to cases where people have been treated, have been cured from the coronavirus, and they have developed antibodies. So they can also receive that certificate of immutability in this case.
Yeah, they call them the immunity, let's say, passport.
Immunity passport, bravo, yes.
Yeah, but okay, as we discussed also earlier before we logged in live, okay, there is a possibility that nobody knows actually that you cannot get it again.
True.
Yes.
So there were cases that okay, they just got the virus again, or other cases. So
well, yeah, I think we should leave the medical part of the discussion to the experts.
Yeah. I don't want to discuss about medical. Okay, it's a solution that proves. But how can an organization or someone use your solution? Can you explain a bit maybe the process? Yeah, of course, anybody can contact you.
It's very easy. If someone can send an email, they can actually use our platform in order to issue certificates. So we have a platform that basically has 3 steps. The first step is to upload a PDF template, the actual certificate that you want to populate. The next step is to input the metadata, or let's say the relevant information to be displayed on that certificate. And the third step is to actually issue those certificates and anchor them on the Bitcoin blockchain. The platform does it all by itself in these 3 steps. So as I said before, if you can send an email, you can actually issue these self-verifiable open source certificates. Now, when it comes to the actual solution, what it does is 3 stuff again, is 3 things. We issue, and we also revoke or have these documents be expired automatically after a specific period of time.
Okay. By the way, just to mention here that if you are watching and you want to make any questions, feel free to use the comment section and drop your questions as we go along. Great. You are a spin-off startup, as you mentioned, of the University of Nicosia and the Institute for correct. Institute for the Future.
Yes.
Yeah, Institute for the Future. How the future is coming around after COVID-19? That's a.
Well,
What do
as
you
a
think?
result of
Maybe a prediction or something. Doesn't mean that
yeah,
you're correct.
we feel that as a result of this situation, institutions have come to realize the increased need for digitization and adoption of technologies that enable remote working. It is essential to move all processes into a digital format and develop a strategy to accommodate that digital environment into all products and processes, both online and offline, of course. Equally important has become the fact that institutions need to ensure trust in any type of a document they issue without the need for its physical presentation or notarization. Now, that's where we come in. Blocos platform can help institutions achieve all that in a simple, trusted, and inexpensive manner.
Yeah, trust, cybersecurity. It's a lot of it's issues that arise even more those days, especially
Mhm.
also video platforms getting hacked
Absolutely.
or other companies out there. We're actually going. We are going. I think we are going to stress test together with the planet. The planet is breathing, by the way. That's one of the good things of all these things.
Sure.
Okay, people are dying, but yeah. Um, okay, blockchain technologies. By the way, I have seen also some other solutions using blockchain. Okay, some of them I don't want even to mention them. Uh, okay, there is a lot of scam around the industry. Um, how do you see that, and how do you see how blockchain technologies can provide solutions to specific challenges that they arise? And do you think governments actually and organizations will use any disruptive technology to solve their problems when they can find, like, like in this kind of area? I mean, in this moment of time, in this moment of time, or they will use bespoke solutions. What is your comments on that, and how do you
Well,
keep?
let me answer that with a question. Back in the early 90s, did you think that people and governments will embrace the internet the way they have done and be so dependent on it? Probably not. In that same way, I have no doubt that blockchain technology will be accepted and adopted. Of course, the turning point for me will be when governments pass legislation regarding the adoption of the technology. A number of countries already have, Malta, Estonia, even China, who are against cryptocurrencies but are encouraging the adoption of the technology itself. We're closely working with our own newly formed Deputy Ministry of Innovation and Digital Policy, and the Deputy Minister, Mr. Kokinos, is very keen on of the technology in the public sector within this coming year. They have recently had a request for interest, for submission of interest by companies on a number of areas where this technology can be implemented in the public sector. Organizations and governments will adopt new technologies as long as they add value. Value in financial terms, in terms of security, in terms of improving operational performance. Has the internet added value? Of course it has. Blockchain will have to win a seat on the table by doing just that, and I have no doubt, absolutely no doubt, that it will do that.
If I can add something here, I believe it's just a matter of time punch. And why do we say this? We believe that through education, through awareness, we will, let's say, reach out to the right people. And when we do, there are some very good people out there in the government that they're looking out for the common benefit. And they're willing to sit down on the table with us, to discuss with us, to brainstorm some ideas, and to reach actually, solutions that will bring value to in the end of the day. Now, when it comes to more, let's say, bespoke solutions, it may be a little bit hard to overcome, let's say, this competition from tech giants that are already very well established. Uh, However, it could be easier maybe in the future than when we see that the governments are slowly adopting blockchain technologies in their processes. We could see, let's say, a leveling in the field of competition between tech giants and other stuff technology companies. Maybe this will make it even more transparent and fairer for everyone involved.
Okay. Okay, I want also your thoughts on how a company can stay or even become more productive in this time of crisis.
That's a very good question,
Okay.
actually. If you use a little bit the various social media of blog.co, we have a special segment called Tip of the Day. We have looked into that. We are trying to apply all the best processes when it comes to working remotely. Well, I will leave Alexis to elaborate a little bit more on this. Alexis?
Yeah, I feel that companies need to think robustly. What is the worst case scenario, and how can we actually survive it? They need to stick to the mission and not the plan. So, given the current situation, what is the plan that would actually help us stay on the mission? I watched a very interesting webinar by an LSE professor over the weekend, and he said, let's treat the recession as a pit stop. In Formula One, he said teams simply stop the race in order to change tires, to retune the engine, and get out of the pits faster. In crisis times, companies may be tempted to cut resources, but that may not really be the smart thing to do. Much smarter would be to reallocate resources. So if you cannot sell right now, for example, because there's nobody out there to sell, turn your focus to other parts of your business. Marketing, for example, do webinars. Perhaps it's a time to focus on longer term projects and think about the trends that would actually emerge as a result of this crisis, and make sure that when recovery does happen, we're well set to take advantage of it. In other words, how do we prepare for when things come back to normality, back to normal?
Yeah, totally agree, Alexis. And this is what I was discussing also recently when I had a growth marketing workshop with Cube in online growth marketing workshop. That I told them that actually the companies that will win this time is the companies that will even boost their marketing instead of cutting their marketing expense. It will be the companies that actually find ways to optimize that marketing expense and do it the right way to get adapt, become agile, and adapt to the new situation very fast. And we see it happening already. We see companies that because of the situation, they have a lot of demand. Other companies they don't have any demand. But again, even the companies that they don't have demand, it's good to rethink everything. And it's time, like you said, like the professor said, go into the pit stop and rethink everything, what they're doing, how they can do it better, how they can do it more innovative. Use rapid innovation tools like discussing today with some friends in Greece, like hackathons to find new ways and build new product very rapidly, and other rapid innovation tools that they can use,
Sure.
or business model canvas or whatever other methodologies they want to use.
Blockco has 3 webinars planned for this month, including this one. Panis, George will share on them.
Tell us more about the webinars. That would be
the one that we have specifically focusing on how a solution can actually help the legal profession. You can find links on our website, but George will share the link on the chat.
Yeah, I'm adding the link now.
Okay, sorry.
George?
Yes, would you like me to add the link here?
No, I will add it in the comments.
Okay, no worries.
Tell us more about the webinars, what you're planning.
Yes, the webinars. So tomorrow we have a discussion on together with a group of, let's say, blockchain consultants called Blockchain Leaders from Lebanon. There again, we will be discussing the various applications of blockchain technology when it comes to combating coronavirus. And on the 28th of April, we have a very exciting webinar or webcast, if I may add, together with two very distinguished guests. One is Christiana Aristidou from the Vice President of the Cyprus Blockchain Association, and the second is Mr. Yanos Georgiadis, an advocate with many years of experience, a technology advisor, an author. I believe that everybody should watch that webinar, whether they are in the legal space or not. There's a lot to be discussed, and I'm sure that there's going to be a lot of valuable content being delivered there. So as just a reminder, tomorrow again we have the go-to webinar together with blockchain leaders at 7 o'clock, and on the 28th of April at 8:30 at night we will have Block.co's first webcast together with Mr. Yanos Georgiadis and Christiana Aristidou. I will be sharing also the links for you to.
Yeah, I shared the link of the page that you can find all Blockco's block.co/webinars.
Let me also share the link with you, so you can actually.
Yeah. So if you want to learn more about webinars, upcoming webinars, you can follow that page. Yeah. I know that
more webinars coming up, but we haven't, let's say, finalized all the details. But make sure to check the page frequently as we are updating the content there.
It's good to, yeah, maybe add them there or a link to go to a newsletter or something that is dedicated only for webinars. Just a tip now.
Thank you, Panis.
Okay, there is, Alexis also mentioning there is also a blockchain policy about Cyprus, blockchain strategy from the government. There is also the artificial intelligence strategy that's coming from the government to get implemented. I know that you have opinion in a lot of issues, in a lot of things about the Cyprus startup ecosystem. So I want your opinion, strengths, weaknesses, what do you believe, opportunities that we might have as an ecosystem. Yeah. And I will also, by the way,
I think that the Cyprus startup system has some very, let's say, distinguished people within the ecosystem. The problem is the infrastructure. You don't have the supporting infrastructure to help those people reach let's say, higher level for performance or, let's say, results. So, in the end of the day, they are also forced to move out of Cyprus in order to find that infrastructure that is actually going to facilitate their goals. So, when it comes to, startup ecosystem of Cyprus, I believe that we are lagging. We are lagging in terms of the adoption of new technologies. We are in the last positions within the European Union as far as this is concerned. I believe we should follow the good example of our very close neighbor, Israel, when it comes to the creation of technological parks, technology incubators, and being able to help the young Cypriot entrepreneurs looking for these environments. They're going elsewhere. While we could have all this, let's say, ground for this incubation here locally in Cyprus. It is a pity that we don't see more actions towards this goal. I don't know, Alexis, you want to add something?
Yeah, if I may add to the just the comments of the evaluators of a recent funding program that was run by the Research Innovation Center, where they stress how impressed they actually were by the quality of the proposals put before them by startup companies. I believe as people, Cypriots are quite innovative and in many cases ahead of our time. What we're missing, as George said, is it's an ecosystem where these innovative ideas will be given every opportunity to flourish and develop into viable businesses.
Okay. Just to add to all this, some things I agree, some things I disagree, but and I think as an ecosystem we need to find our identity, and this identity should be coming also. Part of it will be need to come from the deputy minister and the new ministry to set up some identity. Where are we going? I believe yes, part of what Israel is doing is correct, and we already have actually the government has a lot of close ties with Israel, and they're trying to do some stuff, but we cannot replicate the Israeli model, and this is what we need to understand. We need to take best practices, and we need to actually collaborate, and even I believe we have some added value to add to their ecosystem. To be honest, I can say that with no craziness. I believe we have, to be honest, we have better people in marketing or business. Israel, but Israel has better people in technology, in innovation, and we can exchange lessons and practices. But I want to have a question from Nasos. Not such a meeting. I won't bring in the due to the corona measures. A lot of data is either lost or not controlled by the individual, but by big corporations and governments. I see blockchain disrupting the data space. Example, the Ocean Protocol. What is your opinion? Okay.
Well, I'm not going to refer to the Ocean Protocol because I need to study it more. But yes, I do agree with Nasos that blockchain will provide the opportunity to individuals to, let's say, control their data, remain their privacy, enable organizations and governments to process that data in a more secure way, in a more efficient way, in order to take decisions. Right now, the system that we have in order to take decisions is flawed because we cannot gather the data fast enough. We cannot process the data fast enough. Data is not transparent, and data has not been verified. We don't know for sure whether it's true or false. With the implementation of these new technologies, all these pain points are alleviated, and we are able to design systems that have less errors and less issues. They are more efficient and more fast when it comes to dealing with pandemics like the coronavirus.
Yeah, just simply, I agree with Nasos. Blockchain technology would actually enable individuals to own and capitalize on their own data, whether it's health data or buying habits data, and actually benefit themselves from selling it or from disposing it to third parties. Blockchain will give that opportunity to individuals. It's as simple as that.
Cool. Okay, last question by me. So, but then if anyone wants to answer the question, you need to pop it right now to have there, because we are going to close maybe pretty soon. We're already 50 minutes in the podcast. Interesting stuff, guys. Okay, during the crisis, a lot of startups will pop up. A lot of startups will die. A lot of new startups will pop up. Now is the time to create, because also unemployment, either we want it, either we don't want it, it's going up. So a lot of people, they will start thinking of doing something on their own, create something on their own. What is your advice to young entrepreneurs or other people that they might lose their job right now and they might think to start something on their own?
Okay, well, entrepreneurs that actually getting into a startup, first of all, I would suggest have a strong stomach. But other than that, I will advise for them to surround themselves with a good team, with a combination of skills and experiences, have a solid go-to-market strategy, secure your finances, run on as low a cost structure as you can, but never at the expense of the quality of your product, and embrace technology. Technology is there to help. Technology is taking us all a step further, and let's not be afraid to embrace it.
I agree 100% with Alexis. I would only add that people need to rethink a little bit the market. What does the market require right now? I was watching at New Balance today. Actually, New Balance has, let's say, transformed their production line from creating shoes, and they have allocated some of the resources into developing masks. So people, instead of going out because of the lockdown, they're not using shoes, but now they are in great need for all these masks, and you have a lot of shortages in the market. So this could be like a good example of how businesses and companies need to adapt in order to survive this upcoming crisis. It's no, let's say, we are expecting that the coronavirus pandemic will have a huge impact on the economy, and we will all need to adapt in one way or another to this new situation. So one thing, with one word, I would say, try to be able to adapt to the situation and listen to the market. This would be my
Yeah,
advice.
I believe that's the key point, to be agile.
Yes.
Uh, okay. If you have something else to add, by the way, some of the people that you see 36 number here in my corner here, so here up, that's 36 days that I am in quarantine. So, and we are going strong. Don't worry. You can see that we are going strong every day 7 p.m. With DisruptCyprus live. Anything else to add? Or yeah,
I just stay safe and make the most of the time that we are stuck home. Let's do things that we have not been able to do during the pre-coronavirus time, and
I think it's now is the best time for people to develop a new skill, to maybe learn a new language or start up a new subject, maybe catch up on some old reading or some old books. But my advice would be for people to delve into blockchain technology is number one skill on LinkedIn for 2020. So I think that that is a good advice to research more into blockchain and learn more about it and the applications.
we have also Nicolaou, the president of the Cyprus. Is the president of the
Yes.
okay?
Hello,
We have
Yanis.
another member of the Cyprus Blockchain Association, our friend and supporter of Disrupt Cyprus. Thank you, guys. Great. Thank you, Yannis. This is great. And yeah, thank you for your time. It was an interesting session.
Thank you, Panis.
We are here. As we said, we launch our Patreon. So if you are watching, you need to support us. You will find the link in the comments. Well, also the last VIP Patreon we are discussing with it's for companies that they want to. We can help them optimize their digital marketing, their growth marketing in during crisis. So check it out. If you want to contact me, feel free to do it. One of the companies that we in few months ago before the coronavirus that we had the opportunity to help in that was Blocco. Many thanks for that, guys. So if you need guys, if you need a referrer, if you need to know if I'm good or not, talk with these guys and they can tell you.
Panis, one last thing that I think we should mention is Blocco's initiative when it comes to academic institutions. We are offering our solution entirely for free for this year to academic institutions in Cyprus in order to issue their graduate certificates. So if you're an academic institution and you're listening to this, please contact us and we will provide you our solution for free for this year.
So any even teachers of universities that are listening that, you can take it in your deans or your department that is responsible, and you can contact Blocco to give you.
Due to the coronavirus measures, we believe that for this year, the certificates being delivered to the graduates will be in an electronic format. So if you want your certificate to be immutable to any changes and self-verifiable as far as their validity, then please do contact us.
There's a proposal sitting on the Ministry of Education's table as well, in his computer, because we can very easily undertake the task of issuing all the 6 former graduate certificates, which they would definitely need for university applications, and we have put that offer to the government as well. Hopefully, we will be given the chance to help them.
Thank you, Irina. Irina is part of the team, as far as
Irina
I know.
is part of our team, yes.
Yeah, Irina added the link, so you can find more in the link. This is for Cyprus because we have people watching also from other countries. So this is only for Cyprus currently. This offer.
Yes, if anyone wants to get in touch and we can add some value during these difficult times, we'll be very happy.
Okay. Again, thank you. Tomorrow, just an update. Tomorrow we have 2 sessions, 7 and 8. We have Excelia Technologies. They will show an app that they did to track your symptoms about COVID and other stuff. And after that, we have also Neapolis to tell us more about what they did in their university. Yeah. Have a nice night. Stay home. Stay safe to all, and have a great Easter week for Cypriot people.
Thank you, Panis. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much.